Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering the third and final story in Superboy issue 19, The School Without Teachers. Now, me and the Superboy comics and the Superman comics in the Golden Age have a disagreement. The stuff I enjoy in the comic, I usually enjoy the story or the conflict, they go hand in hand, that I feel like the story is setting up, and that's where I'm getting my enjoyment. The creative team always decides something like, well, there needs to be a criminal for him to fight, and they will turn the story into a different conflict than what I was enjoying. So there's just like a weird disconnection between me and the Superman family comics or the Superman comics of that time, because I have a massive disagreement with this comic. A really fun story being told that I would have loved to see continued, but for some reason they always decide that, well, there needs to be some sort of other threat to deal with. So here, Superboy is basically the only teacher in Smallville. All the teachers get quarantined from someone having some sort of mysterious flu, mysterious virus. They don't really know what it is. So the teachers can't come back, and Superboy has to learn everything, which is interesting. He already knows everything. Why do we have to put in that work? He's graduated high school twice now, and he becomes the only teacher. Now, what's the interesting conflict here is, there's multiple classes going on at the same time, and Superboy has to rush between them while havoc sort of ensues. Things kind of go wrong. Now, what the story actually becomes about, and what the future conflict, the end conflict of the story is part of the problem to that. But I found the idea of Superboy having to jumble multiple classrooms, multiple students, while also using his superpowers to teach them, incredibly fascinating to watch. Even with his super speed, he can't be everywhere at once. It's sort of an impossible feat for him to do. And I enjoyed that conflict. How do you tell an entire story about that? Well, that's part of the challenge of the storyteller. Instead, there's actually a conspiracy happening, and that's where the story loses me. Turns out the guy who has the virus to begin with is faking it. All this is some guys who are trying to rob the bank, and it turns out there's secretly a tunnel underneath the school. So they were hoping to quarantine all the teachers so no one came to the school, so they could get into this tunnel and get into the bank vault. It's apparently existed for 100 years. Superboy ends up looking into it, and that's where the second half of the story. Now, there is a structure. We have the setup, and that's the first half with him teaching the kids. And then we have the payoff with him solving everything. It's just, I don't really care about him solving this. I was more invested in him trying to teach multiple classes while the pipes are bursting or the walls are collapsing. There's just so much to do, and it's running him ragged even with those superpower subsets. And I was interested to see how he ended up pulling this all off. Maybe it would have become repetitive after a while, but we kind of just veered into a different story, a story that I've basically seen a lot. They're just low-level criminals. It's not a particularly interesting conflict for him to deal with. And I just wish we would have just thought about the original conflict and not tried to pivot to someone for him to arrest. It doesn't always have to be about that. There doesn't always need to be criminals. He can just succeed at things. I mean, that's what the stories about him graduating high school are. Okay, that is it from Superboy issue 19 and the third story, The School Without Teachers. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe with the bell icon to get notifications when new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detect Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the boy of tomorrow? And wait, why was there a tunnel under the school to the bank? That is incredibly convenient. Okay, have a great day.